future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Tony Sweet, and we're getting ready to start a great show. We have Julie Brown, yes, the lady from the 80s. She is going to talk about a new musical she has. Oh, my God, it's going to be fun. Yes, and we have a wonderful lady, if you like to dance and like to get jealous because she got to dance on the North Carolina Panther team, we have Kimberly Esmond, yes. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Eddie and Tony. Don't go anywhere.
That.
I am too.
Tony took a different turn.
But we have like a chimney, and the doctor even said, you know, can't you even just slow down? He's like, I don't want to. I mean, so being wise to me,
that would be a wise thing to do.
Yeah.
To not smoke.
And so apparently people don't always get wiser. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have Kimberly Esmond. And hopefully she's made it here because she came all the way from Orange County.
I know. She was like hoofing it.
Right. In which, you know, if you don't live here, Orange County is a little trick.
And if you do live here and you live only 5 miles like I do.
Which can take
50 minutes.
All right, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Kimberly Esmond.
We are back with On Air with Tony Sweet, only on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back to On Air with Tony Sweet. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm
Produce Kim Esmond, who is the creator, owner, and the director of a multi-city dance company called Orange County Dance Productions. She currently lives in Orange County, California with her handsome husband and her 3-year-old twin girls, balancing work and becoming, this is what I love, the household CEO. She developed Project Smile in December 2013 after a life-saving open heart surgery performed on her 2.5-year-old daughter at the time. Project Smile and the Smile Wands have been generating smiles and spreading kindness and love to the people across the world ever since. Please welcome to On Air with Tony Sweet, Kim Esmond.
Hello, Kim.
Hello, thank you.
And she is a gorgeous, gorgeous lady.
You're making me blush.
Stop it some more.
Stop it some more.
Just stop.
I'm like that with cake.
Stop making it more.
Yeah.
More.
It just won't leave me alone. Now, I love this. I love Project Smile, and I posted it this morning.
Oh, good.
And a friend of mine, passed it forward, played it forward, pay it forward, ended up giving it to me, and I fell in love with it ever since. So I got in touch with Miss Girl here, and I'm like, girl.
Miss Girl.
And then we found out you were a Carolina Panther cheerleader.
Well, was.
Yeah.
This is quite a long time ago, yes.
But she still looks like she could be up there going,
yeah.
ooh.
It's the hair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the hair.
We were
I
both
know.
saying how
Featured in
jealous
her.
we are of you.
Oh, and so I just want to read what's actually on the Project Smile wand. I love your wife, Walter Anderson.
You're getting my Sylvester talk.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
I have a voice for TV. It's be silly, be honest, and be kind. And it says, smile. You found the random act of kindness wand, but beware. In order to keep it, you must do an act of kindness for another to spread the smile. So enjoy me, the wand, and have fun. This is brilliant.
Thank you.
And what is your actual demographic? First of all, tell me how this came into fruition. How was it born, girl?
What was the birth of Project Smile Wands?
Thank you. I'm so
Birth.
glad you're here. Thank
Well,
you for
you know.
reading my mind. I'm like, what?
I run on pure coffee with the
BIRFF,
2 3-year-olds. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it really kind of started. So I have twin. They're now 3.5-year-olds, but it'll be actually a year ago, Thursday, that one of them, Raquel, had open heart surgery. And we found out when she was 6 months old that she had a hole in her heart called atrial septal defect, which for all intents and purposes in the realm of heart conditions isn't, you know, a big one for the childhood heart disease. So, but what happened was we were anticipating on doing the surgery later. They said between age 3 to 5, because when they hit about 12, this can, end their lives. When you hear about the kid running on the track and then they drop dead, nobody knows what happens. That's essentially usually what they have.
Wow.
So then she got really sick, and this particular doctor that I chose, her son had a heart transplant when he was very, very young, like under 1 year old. So she said, a normal doctor would say she's got a cold, we'll give you some medicine, send you on your way. But she said, I'm doing a workup just because I know her history. I know you're nervous about this. And then we were sitting at dinner on a Saturday night. My cell phone rang, and it was the doctor calling from her cell phone on a Saturday night. And I was like, we're in trouble. So she said, if she's still coughing, like you said, I'm paging the cardiologist. So everything just kind of pushed fast forward, and essentially her lungs were filling with blood. And that's why she was coughing so bad. And so it was sort of like a very quick, they thought they could sort of do a plug with it and go in through a vein and not have to do open heart. But then the doctor came out right away and he said, literally, that wall is almost non-existent. It's a lot bigger than we thought. So we went in about 2 weeks later, did open heart. They, fixed her and whatnot. And so the recovery process, after you leave the hospital, is about 2 months. So during this process, whether it was, that wait period, the 2 weeks, or, the week in the hospital, or, after that, we had a multitude of people just coming over and bringing, gifts for my kids. Not only just for Raquel, but for her twin needed to kind of understand what was going on as well. They'd never been apart. And people brought us meals, and I was in I still am in a mom's group called MOPS, which is like a national group done through churches. Which
MOPS?
Is MOPS. It's Mom of Preschoolers. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like 100 women at the time it was every Thursday.
You'll have to change that to Sexy Mom.
Yeah. Well, this is in Newport Coast area. So
Okay,
imagine what
go.
these moms look like. It's like immaculate conception and birth. They just sort of pop out these babies and they look like a supermodel. That's where we live. So anyway, and they were doing like prayers and things like that, and just really for the first time, I just felt just an abundance of people, just their kindness and just the things that people would do just to show that they cared, whether it was words or a gift or just their time. The biggest thing was their time, really, because we were on lockdown even before the surgery because you can't get them sick. So after that had happened, it was sort of like this feeling of just, this warmth and this happiness of just when people just show their just unadulterated kindness. They don't want anything in return. They're just doing it because they care or because they see you hurting.
Which is that God essence, the authentic God essence we spoke about earlier.
Exactly. And so it was just kind of one of those things that's like, you don't want that feeling to go away, but it seems that those type of generous acts and acts of kindness tend to come when there's a tragedy or something that's bad, right? So it just was sort of dawned on me that, well, what if you were to take sort of these random acts of kindness and sort of just give them to unassuming people for no reason? Just because. And it could be somebody who's having a bad day. It could be somebody that you know, somebody that you don't know. We do them anonymously. We hand them to people directly. I heard you guys talking something when I was in the green room about people who are just down and out. You just don't know what they're going through, and some people are just very angry, and you think, what an awful, horrible person.
But we don't know their story.
You don't know their story, and they may get one of these and even just be resistant to it, but then, once it sinks in that this person's not wanting anything from me, they're just trying to be nice to me. Yeah. It could literally change that person's life. Really, it could. Because you don't know.
Yeah, they're miracles.
They're miracles.
Miracles are big and they're small, and sometimes the smallest miracles can literally transform someone's life. Like the miracle that your little girl was okay and that she still had her twin with her, and then how the community near Los Angeles, nonetheless, very transient community, came together.
Right.
And created this miracle and this magic, and boom, Project Smile.
Right, because you just don't know. You can, when people have needs, it's usually sort of like this documentary you're talking about, right? Where they're very tangible needs. She needs daycare, she needs food, she needs shelter, for her kids. But I think what's overlooked a lot is the emotional needs that people have, and that's not always evident.
Yeah.
It's really, sometimes you just don't see that right away, and it's something that is beneath a lot of layers. And so that's why just anybody at random, whether somebody you feel like needs it or maybe doesn't, the person that you may think doesn't need it or doesn't deserve it, maybe the one who needs it the most.
That's bullseye.
And I keep going back to the movie that was nominated for an Oscar, was Saving Mr. Banks. That people, when you watch it, you're like, this woman was a bitch or crazy, but we didn't know her backstory. We didn't know her background of her childhood. Right. And at the end, when Walt Disney flew to London to visit her and said, you're setting yourself up for failure by setting me up to fail you. And I keep going back to that because we don't know when we meet people, we don't give them an opportunity. They're like, oh, they're not very nice people, so I don't want them in my life. But then if you just give them even something, instead of being like mean in return, by just giving him one of these
unconditionality,
and just say it's okay. You can be angry, but here's something for yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of people going through the hardships, they're so conditioned and it's so familiar and it's so their reality every single day that oftentimes when someone is authentic and sincere and does something like a Project Smile wand to them and some nice little miraculous surprise, their first instinct is to draw back. Like, what do you want? Or, what's your angle here? But this is the essence of it. And we were speaking earlier about how when we were doing questions and it was, what is your image of God? And it's so often the opposite of what aspects of religion are for me personally. And it goes back to the essence. And this feels like that essence of unconditionality, that soul connection. And this is community building for the right reasons. I love it.
Well, thank you. I mean, and that's the thing is people want different things for their kids, right? Oh, I want my kids to be doctors or lawyers, or I want them to be smart and get into the best GATE program or whatnot. But for me, I mean, I feel like regardless, they're going to be okay. I mean, whether they want to be, an actress or they want to be a doctor, whatever.
Right.
Like, if we instill the proper, just the proper morals and values in them, they'll be okay. But ultimately, like, I want my kids to be kind.
Yeah.
I want them to be the people that as they grow older, people are drawn to them, and they just are like, just a little ray of sunshine. And I want them to know kindness so that they don't know anything different, to like feel it, taste it, know it, believe it, so that they don't really know the difference. So if you see the kid who's being bullied, their first reaction is, I'm going to go and be nice to that friend, or I'm going to be nice to the person that's bullying them.
Right.
Like, I want those to be my kids. Outside of that, I really don't care what else they do. Other than don't do drugs. Like, don't do drugs. Don't do all the other stuff that's going to get you in trouble or sneak out in the middle of the night like we did growing up. But I just want them to have that in their soul. I mean, that's really what this is about, to teach my kids and have them learn to give them to people so that, they understand that this is not for them to hold on to. It's not a toy. It's not anything. It's to give. And then once they saw the reaction that they got, it was like addictive. It was like a drug to them. They're like, I want more. I want to do this. Let's do some more. Let's do this all day.
And what's most people don't realize is the things that you go through, that you've went through with your child, where most people they fell and broke their arm and, they, stubbed their toe or whatever. But this must have been very scary as a parent to go through this and seeing your child go through this. What did it bring you closer? Not necessarily religious wise, but spiritually, did it bring you to a whole? Because you can go opposite and go, why my child, and start hating the universe or hating God. But what did it do for you?
Well, it did both for me, because as we were going through it, it was probably about a month period where we knew that it was coming, and then it actually happened, maybe a little bit longer. And so, during that period, it was just, why is this happening to us? This is my daughter. And, not to get too personal, but we had lost several pregnancies before that. So, to me, my perception was like, I've physically and emotionally been through enough. Like, I don't need anything else to happen. And to watch this happen is just, why, But the most, just the craziest thing, and what I look at the most miraculous thing that happened was, again, during that MOPS groups, this is like 100 women, on a Thursday morning, the same morning that I had the surgery. So you've got about 12 people at a table, and then you've got 2 table leaders. So there was me and another lady named Courtney at the exact same time. So her son that was just born had some disease or some illness or something. They still don't know what it is that threw him in the hospital, and he was like on death's bed for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And so all of a sudden we were going through all this stuff together. Our table had no table leader. And so that morning, I had texted my friend when the doctor came out of the surgery and said she was fine. And she in turn told the table, which in turn, one of the ladies was getting up to do like a prayer with everybody for Raquel at that moment and for Courtney's son. And at the same time, Courtney texted another person. Our table said, they're releasing him today. They said all of his symptoms are gone and it's over. And it was like literally within about a 30-second span, all this happened after something had been going on for about 5-6 weeks. Yeah. And still to this day, it gives me chills because they were just about to do a prayer for them. They're like, we just got, it's like a news break, we just got this information
That's
that
great.
both of them are fine. And it was just something that I can't even describe because it was nothing less than miraculous, really, that all happened in
awesome.
one time. So that specific instance itself, I think, is what turned me into, okay, there's definitely something working here. And not that I wasn't religious before, but that experience and this just changed my life. I mean, it did. It changed the way I look at everything. Absolutely.
That's great.
And I want to go backwards for just 1 second. Children don't learn based on what you tell them. I don't believe. They learn based on what they see. And so the way you're interacting with the world is the way they will interact with the world. Mm-hmm. And because you have that authentic sincerity and that connection to, I hate to say pay it forward because it's so cliche, but to be the ambassador, if you will, of Project Smile and the essence behind it, that makes it addictive to want to pass that kindness. The other thing, too, is I'm a huge law of attraction person and believe in spirituality more than anything else in my life. And what I've learned is there was a time where most parents and adults would teach their kids to be scared of everything and everybody.
Yeah.
And what you're essentially doing is training them outside of their inner guidance system. You can call it God if you want to, soul, heart, energy, unconditionality. And if you teach them to run away from everything without being in the present moment and shining that light that you spoke about, where everybody wants to be a part of that light, not take their light, but to mimic the light, to reflect the light and to be a part of the light, then they will not be in a bad place at a bad time with a bad person who could do them harm because you're training them back into their inner guidance system. And this is all part of getting people back into that community connection with their inner guidance system.
How do people get more involved? Like if they want to know more about your...
Well, it's not really anything for my business, the Orange County Dance Productions, but it's attached to that website. So our website is ocdanceproductions.com. There's a tab at the top called Project Smile, and there is a way that you can contact me as well. Plus, we have the Facebook, which is you can look up OC Dance Productions, and it's on there. And we'll if anybody wants them, I'll mail them out to people, or if they want the little tag, I'll send them the PDF if they want to use it themselves that we had
that's so
created.
nice.
Well, I was going to say, if anybody in the chat room would like to have one, let us know.
Let us know.
We would love
You're
to. I'll
Tony
send
fanatics.
it.
Yeah.
I will
Love 'em.
send you myself. So let's go ahead and just say yes, and I will get that to you.
Absolutely.
So what when you start organizations like this, or even just a project or something that you can be an example, has it grown more than you ever thought it would? Because something because
It might now.
right, but because there's a lot of times we just do it because we want to or we love to, not because we think we had to or we were forced to or wanting to make a profit, but
Right.
it's just because we want to make impact. How do you feel like this has grown or caught on with other people?
Well, it hasn't been around too long. It's only been about 90 days. I mean, to
okay.
date. So
Wow.
it hasn't been around that long. But what we did is I did have all my instructors kind of kick it off, and so we have about 20 instructors, and they would do one girl gave it to a homeless guy with a sleeping bag, and then somebody else put some in a hospital waiting room with some stuff
great.
for people to read. So they each kind of did their own story, and they posted it on our Facebook site so people could see the example of what we were doing with them and what you can do, and. So, I mean, and then we gave them to all the kids that are in all of our classes for winter sessions. So there was,
Very
hundreds
nice.
of those that came out. And the biggest problem was the kids didn't want to give them up. They wanted to keep them.
They're like,
They're
"I
so
want that."
shiny and sparkly. Amazing.
Yeah, give them in West Hollywood.
Yeah,
They would love to
very
have these.
popular, yes.
They would be. That's just so beautiful.
It is.
It's like Miss America or something.
Oh, Eddie,
Miss
when you-
Project
It's a
Smile.
sparkly wand bouquet.
Eddie, we just need to get
There
you
he
a
is.
tiara, and you'll be
A
Project
Sierra.
Smile Queen.
I love that. It's beautiful.
Beth said she wants one, and she will spread those smiles in Michigan. So,
Love it. Oh, Michigan.
And
We
she
haven't been
will.
there yet.
I'm telling you, she will
no,
do it.
Beth
Awesome.
is
I'll take it.
amazing, and Sheila, I'm sure you're these ladies are amazing. So, well, we don't want you to go because we want to talk to you more.
Okay.
But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Julie Brown. Do you know Julie Brown?
I do know who Julie Brown is.
So Julie Brown is going to be in the house, and we are excited to have her. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back. We're going to talk more with Kimberly here.
Project Smile.
Oh yes,
in.
tell
me about this.
Yes.
Oh, so those belong to me.
Oh, okay.
We'll give one to
are-
Mike too.
Those are nice.
I own a dance company down in Orange County, and it was sort of just something.
Here, Mike.
Just like a little philanthropy. Just we would hand them out randomly. They're for random acts of kindness, and I did it. I started off. I did it for my twin girls. I've got twin 3-year-olds, and one of them had open heart surgery about a year ago, and so it was something that I did with them. Just for them to learn kindness and kind of to give back to people who were nice to us. And it sort of
that's
turned
nice.
into this thing, you know?
That's awesome.
And so we'll just like leave them in a park with some toys for kids, and like we'll stick them all in the sand and walk away and just kind of watch people's reactions. Or we've taken them to like the Children's Hospital where she had her surgery, and just tons
That's
of
awesome.
coloring books and crayons. And so we'll hand them face to face, or we'll also do it anonymously or to strangers.
Oh,
or
that's
I just keep them in my car. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, just hand them
That's
out.
hand
really,
them out.
really cool.
But as soon
So
as you
take a
announce
few,
it,
enjoy. Yeah.
And when you announce it, we will like Project Smile and kick in to the Kickstarter.
Okay.
There you go.
Promise.
So
Okay.
let us know.
And I get to keep this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Take
Oh
a
my
couple.
God.
Yeah.
I am.
Pick your favorite color.
All right. I like purple.
Me too.
I can totally see you with some purple,
Uh-huh.
a little
Have
bit
fun
of
with
red.
them.
I like it when someone creates a Project Smile 90 days ago and it's already on a global freaking radio station.
amazing.
Because the energy is pure positive.
And Kimberly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here.
It's great to come. I appreciate it.
Anytime and come back.
I would
Definitely.
love to anytime.